started with an irresistible offer. A broke university student enticed by the promise of easy money. But what seemed like a golden opportunity soon spiraled into a nightmare of eerie instructions and chilling encounters. When the rules are strange and the stakes are high, how far will someone go for $1,000? I was still reeling from the $700 payment Jack had sent me when the next message popped up on my screen. I had followed every bizarre instruction he'd given me, hoping to keep this lucrative arrangement going. But now I was on edge. The morning after my overnight stay at Jack's house, everything seemed normal until a new text came through. "I'm not in town right now. I should be back next week. Enjoy your time off. Just sent the payment. Go do something fun." I read the message over and over, feeling a chill creep up my spine. Hadn't I seen Jack in person this morning? He'd cooked me breakfast. I could still picture his broad smile as he handed me a plate of scrambled eggs. I shook my head, trying to push the unsettling thought away. Maybe I was just paranoid. As I put the phone aside and started unpacking my stuff, another message came through, this time from an unknown number. "Did you forget to do something?" I opened the text and was greeted by a chilling image. Jack, or someone who looked like him, standing in front of a TV screen with static fuzz. I stared at the image, my heart pounding. The second picture was even more disturbing. It was an exterior shot of my house. The final text followed, "Watch out!" I scrambled to my feet, feeling a cold sweat break out across my forehead. The words of the list Jack had given me echoed in my mind. "Turn the TV on and let it play on static through the night. Do not forget to do this." Had I missed something crucial? My phone buzzed again. Another message, this one from Jack's number. "I see you forgot the TV rule. A shame, really. I'd hate for something bad to happen." Panic gripped me as I raced to the living room, my heart racing. I turned on the TV, the static filling the room with an unsettling hiss. My hands shook as I glanced around, feeling an oppressive weight in the air. As the hours ticked by, every creak and groan of the house felt magnified. My mind raced with scenarios, each darker than the last. What was Jack really up to? What did he want? Suddenly, I heard a faint knocking at the door. My heart leaped into my throat. I tiptoed to the door and looked through the peephole. All I could see was darkness. The knocking grew louder, more insistent. My fear intensified. I recalled the rule: don't open the door for anyone, no matter who they say they are, after 10 p.m. The knocking stopped abruptly. I felt a momentary relief, but it was short-lived. A new sound replaced it, a dragging noise coming from the basement. Against my better judgment, I crept toward the basement door. The noise was faint but unmistakable, a dragging, scraping sound that made my skin crawl. I reached the door and hesitated, my hand hovering over the handle. I took a deep breath and opened it slowly. The basement was dark, with only the faint glow of the TV illuminating the stairs. I could barely make out the outlines of old furniture and boxes. The dragging sound had stopped. I was about to close the door when I heard a soft, disembodied whisper. "Help me!" I jumped back, heart racing. The whisper came again, more insistent this time. "Help me!" I slammed the basement door shut and locked it. The static from the TV seemed to grow louder, filling the silence with a nerve-wracking hiss. My phone buzzed once more. It was another picture from the unknown number, this one showing a figure standing in front of my house, shrouded in shadows. The text that followed was short and chilling. "You missed the most important rule." I had no idea what to do. My mind raced through every possible scenario, each one more terrifying than the last. I needed to get out of there. I grabbed my phone and car keys and prepared to leave. I locked the door behind me and ran to my car. As I started the engine, I looked back at the house. It loomed in the dark, its windows like unblinking eyes watching me. I sped away, feeling a sense of dread lift slightly with each mile I put between myself and Jack's house. But the fear didn't dissipate entirely. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me, that the terror wasn't over. The next morning, I was a bundle of nerves. Every sound in my apartment seemed amplified. The buzz of the fridge, the hum of the air conditioner, all of it felt like an omen. I barely managed to get through the day, constantly checking my phone, expecting another ominous message. At noon, I received a message from Jack's number. My heart sank as I opened it. It read, "I hope you're enjoying your break. Just a reminder, rules are important." The anxiety was suffocating. I tried to focus on my studies, but the sensation of being watched never left me. I could hardly concentrate. Every creak of my apartment seemed to echo with the ghost of Jack's instructions. Later that day, I got a call from an unknown number. I hesitated but answered, hoping it wasn't another message from Jack. To my surprise, it was a woman's voice on the other end. "Hello? Is this Emily?" she asked, her tone urgent. "Yes, this is she." "This is Officer Daniels. We need to speak to you about some recent events. Can you come to the station?" A chill ran down my spine. "What events?" "Just come to the station. It's important." My mind raced. Had something happened to Jack? Or was there something the police knew that I didn't? I agreed to go to the station. When I arrived, Officer Daniels was waiting for me. She led me into a small interrogation room. "Emily, we've been investigating a series of strange occurrences linked to Jack," she began. "He has a history of odd behavior, and some of our sources suggest he might be involved in something more sinister." My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" "Jack has been involved in several cases where people were found missing or harmed. The peculiarities of your situation have raised red flags." I was stunned. "But he's just been asking me to do these weird favors. I thought it was just some bizarre hobby of his." Officer Daniels nodded. "That's what we initially thought. But the instructions you received, the behavior, it all fits a pattern of manipulation and control." I felt sick. "What should I do?" "We're working on locating Jack and assessing the situation. In the meantime, we advise you to stay alert and avoid any further contact with him. Do you have any idea where he might be right now?" I shook my head. "He said he was out of town." "That's what makes this complicated. We found evidence suggesting he might have been using disguises and false information to mislead people." I left the station feeling more anxious than ever. If Jack was capable of such manipulation, who knew what else he could do? Back at my apartment, I tried to regain some semblance of normalcy, but the fear remained. Every knock at the door made my heart race. Every shadow seemed ominous. That night as I lay in bed, I received another text from the unknown number. It was another picture, this time of me sleeping in my bed. I hadn't heard a thing. The text read, "I see you've been keeping busy." Terror gripped me. I locked all the windows and doors, but the feeling of dread was unrelenting. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and fear. I avoided leaving my apartment and kept the lights on at all times. The police updates were infrequent and didn't offer much comfort. Jack was still at large, and they couldn't guarantee my safety. One night, as I was trying to sleep, I heard a faint scratching sound coming from outside my apartment window. I froze, listening intently. The scratching continued, growing louder and more persistent. I gathered my courage and peered out the window. The sight that greeted me was enough to make my blood run cold. There in the dim light was a figure standing just outside the window. It was obscured by the darkness, but I could see the outline of someone or something watching me. I stumbled back, my heart racing. The scratching continued, accompanied by a low, guttural sound. I grabbed my phone and dialed the police, my hands shaking. "Hello, police?" I whispered. "There's someone outside my window. Please, you have to come." The operator's voice was calm but urgent. "Stay inside. Officers are on their way." The scratching stopped abruptly. I waited in terrified silence, listening for any sign of the figure. The police arrived within minutes and searched the area, but they found no trace of anyone. "Are you sure you saw someone?" Officer Daniels asked, her voice filled with concern. "Yes," I replied. "I saw them. I know I did." "All right. We'll increase patrols around your area," she assured me. "If you see or hear anything else, call us immediately." Despite the increased patrols, the fear never fully left me. I continued to receive strange messages and pictures, each one more disturbing than the last. Jack's whereabouts remained unknown, and the sense of being hunted never faded. It became clear that Jack wasn't just playing a game. He was dangerous, and his reach extended far beyond what I had imagined. The bizarre favors, the unsettling instructions, they were all part of a larger, darker plan. In the weeks that followed, I struggled to regain a sense of normalcy. My studies suffered, and my social life was in shambles. The constant fear of Jack's return loomed over me. One evening, as I was preparing for bed, my phone buzzed with a new message. I hesitated before opening it, bracing myself for whatever new horror awaited. The message was from Jack's number. The text read, "I hope you've learned your lesson. Rules are everything." I stared at the message, feeling a mix of relief and dread. It seemed like Jack was finally done with his games, but the lingering fear and uncertainty remained. As I lay in bed that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that Jack was still out there, watching and waiting. The terror had left its mark on me, and I knew that my life would never be the same again. The experience left me forever changed. The fear and paranoia that had gripped me during those days were replaced by a cautious vigilance. Jack was never found, and the case remained unsolved, a dark reminder of the dangers lurking in the most unexpected places. As I moved forward with my life, I tried to put the experience behind me, but the memories lingered. The rules, the strange favors, and the chilling encounters remained etched in my mind, a haunting reminder of the price I had paid for an easy $1,000.